What's up, y'all? What's a given? What's going on? Today, I'll be taking you guys into my summer favorites, specifically summer makeup favorites, because we're kind of in that season right now. And as someone who is a dry skin girly, a sweaty girly, all of the things. And I just wanted to take y'all through what I do for my makeup to make it stay put and not go anywhere, especially in this Texas heat. So without further ado, let's get into it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, let's get into these products. So I kind of have all my stuff in this bag here. So it's gonna be kind of like a cat in the hat. Just gonna reach down and pick one of the products and we're gonna get into it. So let's start with our base. I am a firm believer that makeup starts with skincare, especially if I can and I'm not like on the go or getting ready in a quick rush in a hurry. I like to start from scratch. So even if I did my AM routine for the day, I still like to, like when I'm really getting to sit down and start to do my makeup, I like to wash my face from scratch, moisturize from scratch, sunscreen from scratch, just so that my face has like a fresh layer for everything to adhere to without any issues. And so for the summertime, I've been really enjoying this Youth to the People Kale and a Green Tea Spinach Vitamins Superfood Cleanser. Okay, it looks like this. And I do have a sample size, but wait, here we go. There we go. I do have a sample size, but I absolutely plan on getting the full size because I love the way this smells. And I typically like using it as a first step to when I'm doing my deep cleansing in the day or nighttime. So I'll use this to double cleanse, but if I'm just doing a quick refresher just so my skin is prepped for makeup, I like using this. The next product is for moisturizing, and right now I've been really enjoying this Charlotte Tilbury's Magic Cream. It looks like this. It's a little scratched up, and it just smells like a really nice moisturizer. And any Old Faithful moisturizer will do. I wouldn't say that my summer routine is so specific to this, but just a good moisturizer immediately after washing. Something that's gonna like really seal in that hydration. Alternatively, if I'm not using that magic cream or regular moisturizer, I like to go in immediately with my sun protection because my sunscreen, at least my main one, it has moisturizing properties, so it counts as a moisturizer. And it's this Bondi Sands Daily Moisturizing SPF for the face. Make sure y'all can see that. This is my probably like top 5, top 10 in my makeup routine or skincare routine, period. I've repurchased this maybe like 4 or 5 times now. I get it off of Amazon. It's less than $10 for SPF 50. I do go through it really quick though because I tend to use a lot of sunscreen and I do face and neck. I do body sunscreen too in the summertime, but I'm still waiting on that sunscreen to arrive. But I sunscreen everything. Anything that's exposed, I'm sunscreening. So I'll use this sometimes if I'm not using a regular moisturizer, but if I am using this moisturizer, I'll follow on top of it with like a serum type of moisturizer. And for me lately, that's been the Trader Joe's Daily Facial Sunscreen. This is an SPF 50. And I know, oh, there we go. I'm trying to get a focus. I know that this is really going up at some point because people were saying it was a dupe for the Supergoop. And it does have that feel. I would say it's a dupe, honestly. Like it has that like serum type of vibe. And it's cool. It's cool. I like a more moisturizing sunscreen, something that I work in a little bit, but this is also really good. I'll do this if I'm doing daytime makeup. Then I follow it up with my primer for summertime. So typically, actually in the winter, I don't really use primer. I don't really worry about my makeup slipping and sliding. But during the summertime, I tend to phase primer back into my routine. So I recently picked up the Too Faced Hangover Replenishing Face Primer, which I think a lot of people are familiar with this bad boy. And I like it. I like the consistency. I like how it like glides on my skin. And then when I do this, I let it sit for a little bit before I start with my products. So for this next product or products, they're basically the same thing, just in different packaging. And it's basically hypochloric acid. So I have the first one that I've ever bought, which was from Tower 28, the SOS Skin Daily Rescue Facial Spray. Daily Rescue Facial. Y'all, these names are tongue twisters. Daily Rescue Facial Spray. And it looks like this. And this is a mini, so I bought this to initially put in my gym bag or put for like travel or my daily purse or whatever, but it does come in a bigger size. However, I found a slightly more cost-effective option on Amazon. So this one is a Skin Smart antimicrobial facial cleanser, and it's the same thing. It has ionized water, hypochlorous acid, and yeah, I just use this after, or I like to use these products specifically after the gym. I know some people use it on airplanes, sometimes when you wake up, so like when you have all the things from like your pillow and stuff, and you know, either before you wash or after you wash, just spray it down. I like these. They kind of smell like pool water, like pool water. So, but I like it, you know, I like it. I think it's good for summer, especially to keep the bacteria off your skin as much as possible. So these are absolute staples right now. So now getting into complexion, this first product I have here is after primer but before foundation, and it's the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Glow Serum, which is a priming face serum, and this one I got in the shade Juice Boost. First of all, Danessa Myricks has been doing her big one with her packaging, let's just be clear. But I absolutely love this, the glow it gives. As someone who is a dry skin girly but prefers like not only dewy finishes but just a dewy look overall, this is key to getting that. Like I can get it regardless, but I just feel like this adds a certain, you know, je ne sais quoi for that. And I love the applicator. It's just kind of fun to apply. Like I just like zhuzh it all over, and then I spend some time working it in. I let it dry down, and then I start with my foundation or concealers, whichever step I do first with that. Speaking of foundations, I was using this previously up until it just started looking too dark for my skin. So I love this product, and I'm just gonna have to probably go a shade up or so. But this is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. As y'all know, this is an OG. I mean, she stretches way back. It's a real throwback. And I like this a lot. Like for summertime, when I layer powders and everything, it just works really, really well with everything. So I wish I could still kind of play with her to get a better color. And you would think that because it's summertime and I'm a sweaty girl, that I would be sticking to like skin tints or face powders. But and I'll show you my skin tints real quick. I'm not going to spend too much time on that because I am talking about my absolute favorites. I have the Hourglass skin tint as well as the Danessa Myricks. And skin tints, and I've tried maybe like 4 or 5 skin tints in my lifetime. And what I notice is that they do not formulate like how obviously they do with like foundations. So the shade range tends to be more limited. And with that limited range, I find that anything that's close to my skin color, because I have like golden / neutral undertones, anything that's close to my skin color tends to run orange. And I'm talking about like Oompa Loompa, giving Oompa Loompa. Like it'll be looking cute in the mirror, and then I'll, you know, go outside, it settles down a little bit, it oxidizes, and then it's like full Oompa. So I'm not really too fond of the skin tints. I have not found the one that's just like chef's kiss for me yet. So I've been leaving it alone. I do have also, like I said, I'm derailing so much, but I have a skin pigment from LA Girl that I'll use sometimes when my foundation is too orange. But I'm not gonna say that this is just the most perfect fix either. So I just like, yeah, I just either stick to a concealer routine or I'll do a foundation in the summertime. Like I can't win with the skin tints right now, and that's okay. So anyway, the Maybelline Fit Me is my go-to foundation for the summer right now, because it's pretty lightweight and I like the coverage. It's enough coverage, but it's not too much, but it's not too little, like a skin tint. Concealers. So my go-to concealers this summer have been the Hourglass the Hourglass Vanish concealers. So I use one to just like touch up my marks on my face, and then one to highlight. These have been good. These are my go-to. Like, I have no 10 out of 10 no notes. I still get a little bit of creasing under my eye, but that's kind of a me problem. That's like regardless of any concealer I use. But these are really good for the summertime because they stay put, honey. They stay put. Next on the must-have complexion products for the summer, especially if you're using foundation, are gonna be your powders. And I don't have, where's my other powder? Okay, it's right in front of my face. So I'm gonna take you through these powders really quick. After I do my concealer, right, I go in with the Sephora Micro Smooth powder in the shade Bronze, which is a little bit lighter than my skin tone, because I'm going over the areas that I highlighted with. And I will pat, you know, any of my creases down to take those creases away. I immediately go in with a powder brush, which I can show y'all. This is just a Real Techniques face brush, I think, or buffing brush, and I'll dot dot dot. You can also use a powder puff for this. I mostly use a powder puff. You pat it in, and then you pat all those areas first before a setting powder. So pressed powder. So let's go back. Let's review. Concealer, pressed powder, setting powder, and then additional powders if you need it after that. All right, so let's say I'm doing like my highlight for my concealer. So I'll do my concealer, which is a wet product, as you guys know. Concealer, then I'll put my pressed powder to prep it for a loose setting powder. And for my loose setting powders, I've been kind of wanting a light, but not too like much of a situation. So I like the Maybelline Fit Me Light Medium. This is a loose finishing powder. Light Medium, which is the shade 20 or the number 20. And as you can see, it's pretty well loved. But yeah, so I'll take this with a powder puff and I'll go under those areas. I'm a baker specifically for my under eyes. The other areas I don't tend to bake because, again, I'm a dry skin girly, but I cannot help baking my under eyes. And I don't do it all the time. It's more like, it's like 70-30 that I'm baking. I also use Huda Beauty here and there. So this is like a 50-50. I use these about equal amounts of the time. Huda Beauty, this is the loose baking and setting powder in Kunafa. My typical shade, I actually like, is it Blondie or Banana Bread or one of the B ones more, but I do like Kunafa. She offers something really, really pretty. In a situation where I'm using both of them, I'll use Kunafa over my lip, on my chin, on my forehead, and maybe like if I'm contouring like my cheeks and stuff, I'll use it for that. And then I'll use the Maybelline directly under my eyes and then down my nose. So this is key, but what's more key is the step before this, which is using a pressed powder, especially if you crease. Then after that, I'll use a face powder. So this is the Maybelline Sephora Micro Smooth in Toffee. And I'll use this over that. And then if I need any additional powdering or whatever, sometimes I'll go back in with just a lighter powder. So I'll either use like this Huda Beauty Cherry Blossom Cake, the pink one. I'll either use this or I'll use the Maybelline Fit Me 220 Natural Beige, which is just a regular powder, regular pressed powder. And I'll use that on top right here if I need a little bit more. Hey, huh? Are you nuts? If I need a little bit more brightening. But I'm telling you, you would think that the powders and everything is counterproductive to, like, you know, not sweating and all of the things, but it really will save you, or it saves me. I'm speaking from my perspective because I know everyone's skin, reactions, locations, everything is so different. But for me, as someone who lives in a city where we reach at times triple-digit weather, and I'm a sweaty girl, and it's super humid here as well, so the air sometimes is just wet. This works for me. Now, I'm not saying you're gonna be immune to sweating, but I'm saying that your makeup is gonna be still sitting. It's gonna stay put. Those, like the powders, if I can't stress anything else in this, the powders are key. Next, which is just as key. Actually, let me pull over. I feel like I've compacted the info So let's just take a mental break here and I'll go for something smaller. So one thing I highly recommend, this is not a must and this is not integral to the routine, but I think it's a very wise thing, especially if you can fit it in your purse situation. I think it's very wise to not only carry your powder with you, but to have a dual-ended brush. And a dual-ended brush mostly because it's like you'll get the two sides. And so if you need a spot conceal, or if you need to pat into a corner, somewhere that's pointy, or if you need to just powder some, repowder some areas, you can use this for that, just as a travel thing. So if you stick it in your bag, I know everyone's bags these days are just like super tiny. I'm honestly kind of transitioning back to using a real handbag because I need something that carries my things. So yeah, I think it's good to just have like a dual-ended brush on you because you just never know. Now, I'm not someone who always needs to touch up because either I'm not out of the house that long, or my makeup is just behaving that day or whatever. So I don't frequently bring things to touch up with unless I know for sure I'm going to be like in a sweaty environment or a hot environment or an outdoor situation. But again, you adjust those things as your needs fit. I just think, if you just want like a small little tip just to keep in the back of your brain, just a dual-ended brush that covers your needs. Going back to complexion stuff and sealing complexion. So setting sprays to me is probably, I know I said the powders, if you don't take away anything else, take away that you need to do powders, but I kind of want to amend that and say the setting sprays is probably more important than the powder. For real, for real. It is a priority not only for the makeup to stay put, but to be as transfer proof as possible. And that's really, really hard to do, of course, because you're dealing with, like, at least in my case, like a brown makeup and all of those things. But makeup is makeup is makeup. It's gonna stain, it's gonna look, how it's gonna look. But I think the setting sprays are really, really key, especially if you find the right combo. One thing about it, let me tell you this too. This is another huge takeaway. I've tried a lot of setting sprays, and I don't think one, even a good one, I don't think one is gonna cut it. Because I have been finding my best results using like 3 setting sprays in one setting. At least for the summer. Maybe in the other months, like the cooler months, it's not going to be that important. But for summer, I find myself realizing that one is not enough. Like I have to use 3 different ones, or I'll use different ones throughout my routine that do different things. So for one, as far as the setting sprays, and I'm going to show you guys the products, but for one, with the setting sprays, I spray between steps. I find that there's a lot of success there too, where everything is melding together at its different phases. So when you're focusing on your cream products, you give it a spray. When you're focusing on your powder products, you give it a spray. When you're focusing on bringing back that dew and that shine, you give it another spray, and then you spray to finish. So before I even get to my end or my finishing spraying, I probably have already sprayed like 3 or 4 times throughout my routine. Because I just find that when it all comes together at the end, the finish just sits so much better. It is more skin-like, it's more breathable, it's more hydrated. And again, this is someone though who prioritizes dewiness and hydration in my makeup routine and in my skin. So to show y'all really quick, I have different ones for different things. Let me show you my staples, and then I'll show you guys the ones that I also really like. Okay, so lately I've been using this Jumbo Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. Let me show you that really quick. This is the biggest one they have. This one is 6.5 ounces, which is the perfect size. Like all the other ones were for play. This one, I needed to be in this size, possibly bigger, because I use this so generously. This one I use to spray between steps. So I'll do my moisturizer, I'll spray. I'll do my complexion stuff, I'll spray. I'll do my powders, I'll spray. I spray between each step with this because it's so big. I can afford to be generous with it. And it's not too wet because it's a mist. So it's going to be light you know, for that misting. I can't use something that has a more concentrated nozzle because then it's just going to be taking everything forever to dry. You can, but that's just, I kind of just been liking using this guy. This I use in between steps and also at the end. So when all is said and done, the makeup's done, everything is sitting, eyelashes are on, lip gloss is on, all the things. I first spray with this all over. I let it sit a little. Actually, I don't let it sit. Let me shut up. I don't let it sit. I spray it all over. Then I go in with my Urban Decay All Nighter Extra Glow. This is not the regular one. This is the Extra Glow, which is meant to give a dewy finish. And then I will shake it, put it on top of the Morphe while everything is still damp. I do not wait for anything to cool down. I do not wait for anything to dissolve. I spray literally right after, one after the other, So I'll spray this one. And then for the last spray, I use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. I think everyone kind of knows which one this one is. And once again, while everything is still damp and dewy and wet on my face, I spray with this. And this one is a much more concentrated spray. And I go all over and then I let everything cool down. And then on top of that, that's just if I'm being regular or if that's nighttime. If I'm doing daytime and I feel like there's been too much time in between the last time I put sunscreen, so I'm like due for that 2-hour plus time refresh, I'll go in with this Morphe SPF 30 Sunsetter Setting Spray. And I like this. It kind of smells like coconut though, and I know a lot of people don't like coconut, but I don't mind it. And so after I do all those sprays, I'll do this one as a sun protection for everything over top. And then sometimes I'll take this with me if I want to refresh. This one does kind of give a dew situation though. So again, if you're not into dewiness, you may want to avoid this one. But yeah, the setting sprays are more important than the powders, but both of those together, your makeup is not going to go anywhere. Even if you're hot and you're sweating, yes, you may mist and you may sweat, but once everything cools back down, it's going to be sitting possibly better than it was when you first applied it. I'm not even joking. I have just a couple more products here to show y'all. So this one is for I would say like if you want to do sunscreen before. I find that some people, when they're wearing makeup, they touch up their sunscreen with stick sunscreens. I get the heebie-jeebies as far as like the bacteria ecosystem of that situation. So only, for me at least, only if I'm doing sunscreen before or if it's a no makeup day will I use this. And this is my Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Dew Balm, which is an SPF 45. We can focus here. There we go. And it's a stick, and she's so handy dandy, and it's so cute and pretty and pink. And yeah, so I don't put this over top of my makeup. As you can see, it's super clean. But even, I guess, if you are the type of person that likes a stick foundation, a stick sunscreen as you do makeup or like a, you know, situation, maybe just put some alcohol, clean it off, hypochlorous acid, whatever you got to do. But yeah, I just thought, you know, this is not per se like dealing with makeup, but it's worth mentioning because some people do use this with makeup, and also it's just a good ass product. So, and then the last couple of things I have to show are actually tools and not makeup products. So I cannot emphasize enough that beauty puffs or powder puffs are key. I have them here from Amazon. If you go on Amazon and search powder puffs, the world is your oyster. There's so many assortments of colors, and they're super cheap. But I mean, I hardly even use my beauty blender because I be really wanting these powders to set well. And I also don't want to waste my product. And I feel like these powder puffs, they really bang. And yeah, so powder puffs are key. I like to have an assortment, and I'm gonna probably link this below if y'all are interested, because this one came with a bunch and it's super handy dandy. Last thing is a tool or things. So again, coming from a girly that lives in a hot city where it's humid and it's moist and it's nasty and it's hot, I'm talking about burning hot like a frying pan. As good as my makeup can be and how as thorough as I can be with all of my steps, there's some times where you just simply cannot beat that heat. You just can't beat it. It's just that heat is taking a bite out of crime on your ass. So on those days where it's like I literally can't out powder it, I can't out setting spray it, I carry these around. Anyone who knows me knows that when you see me, when you see this, you see me. When you see me, you see this. And that's just a hand fan. And it's so serious to me because I have multiple, like different kinds. I have one sitting literally right here. All different shapes, all different sizes. I keep a hand fan because of where I live and my condition. I know that I sweat, so I'm gonna do what I can to make myself comfortable. It just is what it is. Now, this is probably my favorite one because its highest speed will blow you away. I got this from Amazon and it's in my favorite color, so naturally that's just what we do. It has 6 speeds, I think. I don't want to like, and I like that this one has an off button, an on-off button. Let me show y'all. Because then it's not going to accidentally turn on in my bag, which these things tend to do when they have just like a button. Sometimes it'll turn on and it'll be wasting battery in your bag. So I love that this has an on and off button, so it's not going to turn on when it's off. Love that. So if I turn it on, and I was apprehensive. I had to look through so many reviews first because I was thinking that the bigger this is, the more power that you're going to get from it. But this has a lot of concentrated cool. I think I like this design and this situation better. So when I turn it on, it's on 2 right now, and y'all can hear it. Like it's getting some Beyonce action. That was the highest speed, and like this is my ride or die go-to. So again, in days where I cannot get the routine just that good to where my makeup is just not gonna move, I always like to keep a fan on me just so I can stay comfortable and I can try to preserve as much of my face in the public as I can. And for the girlies who do like take smaller purses and stuff, I have an option for you as well. I prefer power over the whole sizing thing. Like I will literally use a bigger bag if that means taking my fan, or I'll just hold it in my hand. If I'm going out and I know it's gonna be hot, there's no way I'm taking a smaller fan. So I just take this one, period. You know, I have an option for you guys if you do like a smaller situation. It's like the palm, just a little bit smaller than the palm of my hand. Or not the palm of my hand, but the back of my hand. So she's still a little sizable, but she's still pretty small. Like she's pretty small. So so this is the highest setting. She's cool. She's cool. Obviously not as much cooling as my other fans, but I also recognize that some people just don't need as much cooling as me. I get really, really hot. So some people, they either don't sweat like that, or they just don't need as much to get cool. So this could be a good option for you guys too. So yeah, this is just like I said, a small one, and it's cute. It's like a rose. It says rose gold, but this is quite obviously pink. But and this one I just kind of keep at my vanity because I like that it folds. It folds up, and so sometimes I use this to like dry my setting spray, dry my lashes. But yeah, this is a must-have for summer makeup because sometimes you just can't avoid doing full beat, and you can't just do like powder and go. Like sometimes you require like a full beat down, and so I love a full-bodied fan with me just in case everything else fails. That is my summer favorites makeup edition. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, let me know if there's anything else you guys want to see. And as always, love and light, peace and blessings, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye. I know it's been too long. I've been on the road too much. Gotta get back to you.